Well, last year we were trying to get the plane off the ground, so to speak. I mean, you were talking about a team that had went 0-11 in 2008, won one game in 2007, and when you win 6 games in your first year, just the feeling of winning and having a winning season made the kids feel great. I mean, it made them believe that what we were doing in the off-season program, the kids we brought in with recruiting, the schemes that we were running on offense and defense, it just gave us a sense of, hey, we're doing the right things here at Concord, and if you continue to do the right things, you could win. Offensively, everyone knows what we got back. We got Thomas Mayo, who was one of the best receivers in Division II a season ago. I believe he led the country in some statistical categories. I think yards per game or something. Brian Kennedy, our running back's a 1,500-yard rusher. Zach Grossi, the kid who had hurt his knee in Game 3 against West Virginia Wesleyan, took every rep in spring ball. Will be coming back as our quarterback. Got most of the line back. Feel pretty good about where we're at offensively. We got a very good run-pass balance in our offense with Brian and Thomas. What we need to have is when we throw the ball, we need to have more balance in our throwing game because most of our throws are to Thomas. We need to get Rasheed Baker more involved at the tight end position. We need Keith Huff to come in and have a good freshman season for us, a kid we redshirted a year ago. We need Nate Tanner to step up and have a good senior season, and a couple of the freshmen we're bringing in. And I don't really know. I mean, there's 6 of them. I'm interested to see which 1 or 2 that it'll be that come in and play and help us. But they need to come in and give us some quality reps on the other side away from Thomas. I don't want it to be where Thomas gets 70% of our catches. I want it to be where he gets, I want him to get the ball, don't get me wrong, but I want it to be more balanced on offense as far as who gets the ball. Defensively, that's where our challenge lies. I mean, we lost Dan Stone and Terrell Lynch and Duke Adu in the defensive front a year ago. We still have Thomas Herons back, and we're bringing in a couple JC guys. And, being a West Liberty, you kind of know how that goes. It could go either way with you. I mean, if they come in and play like you think they can, then you got a good group there. If not, then you're in trouble. Linebacker a season ago was a position I thought was really a weakness for us. We just didn't have the depth there. Even our starters were playing. One played the whole season with a bad shoulder. The other one gimped through it with a little bit of loose cartilage in his knee. We really tried to concentrate on that this offseason with recruiting, and finding great high school linebackers isn't the easiest thing to do. We found a couple kids that we think could develop, and we brought in 2 junior college kids there, as well as the high school kid Jake Lilly from Bluefield, who was one of the best players in the state a year ago. So we feel better there. Secondary-wise, who knows? Can we cover West Lib's, 4 receivers? I don't know that anyone that has, but if we could cover everyone else's, it would make me feel good. I like our 2 starting corners. I like Hector Tanner. We signed Riyard Richardson. We got R.J. Anderson from a season ago. I like those kids. They need to come in and compete each and every single day. And then we did sign 2 junior college kids at safety, which I think will help us. The biggest thing is defensively we'll have 9 of our top 18 players will be new to the program. And that's both good and bad. It's bad that they're going to be getting reps for the first time in a Concord uniform starting in a week. It's good that we needed new life over there. On offense, you could kind of hide your weaknesses. You could be bad at a couple positions and yet get the ball to Brian and Thomas, and everyone thinks you're great. They don't really know the truth. You could hide it. Defensively, if there's a weakness back there, people are going to find them. If you got a bad will linebacker and your other 10 guys are good, they're going to exploit that weakness. That's where you could really see the weakness in the programs on the defensive side, and it translates straight to special teams. We beat Wesleyan in week 3 in a great football game, and we gave up a ton of yards special teams. And the paper guy asked me afterwards, what are you doing? I said, I got nowhere to hide it. We got to punt the ball and kick the ball, and it's an open field play. And when you got a great returner like they had that day, and the steel kid up at Shepherd, you got to tackle him in the open field. Unless you got great athletes, great open field tacklers, you can't do that. And that's where our program, to go from a 0-11 program to a 6-5 program, and for us to be an 11-0 program, which is obviously everyone's goal, that's where we got to get better. We need to have more good athletes. Instead of having 20, it's Division II football. You got to have 70, and we're getting there. We'll probably be in the high 30s, 40s this year. Another class will be closer than we were a year ago.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the turnaround that you just noted. And Concord struggles, as you noted before you became head coach. You improved them to 6-5 last season. What's possible in 2010?
It's weird because everyone asked me a year ago, what's your goal on wins? And I didn't have a goal. I just wanted to win the first one, and I wanted to get better each week. And it sounds like a coaching cliche, but I really didn't know how else to attack it. At the end of the year, we looked back and said we won more than we lost. That's a good first season. This year, we're going to try to win all 11. We're not going to go into one game thinking, we don't have a chance this week, or let's not worry about it because we've already got X amount of wins. And by the same token, if we lose games, we're going to try to get better each week. My concern is, and Coach Lockhart up at Cal and I speak a lot. We were together for 5 years, and he said the 4 rebuilding programs he had to take over, year 2 they always stepped backwards. I'll think back to the Fairmont when I was playing and getting the student coach. Year 2 and year 3 were the hardest in the rebuilding process. At Northern Michigan, we won 6 games in year 1. We won 3 games in year 2. California took a step back in year 2. They actually hired me in year 3. They had won 6 games in Coach Lockhart's first year, and I believe they won 3 or 4 in year 2, and then we won 6 or 7 after that, and then you know where they're at now. So that's my biggest goal is year 2. I don't want to take a step backwards. I want to continue to get better. I want to develop, and I'm looking at it more like what do we got to do program-wise to get better. We need to build a great group of athletes that can help tackle on special teams and defense. We need to get some balance in our offense and the throwing game. If we do those 3 things, I think we'll have more wins. If we don't, who knows?
Lastly, Coach, you've got a unique perspective on the West Virginia Conference, having played at Fairmont State in the early 90s. You were offensive coordinator there after that. And then for a decade, you were in the GLIAC and then in the PSAC, one of the best offenses in the country at California, Pennsylvania. Now that you've come back, how far would you say the West Virginia Conference has come from when you were last in it to where it is today?
Well, I think there's a lot more balance in the league. When I was in the league at Fairmont back in those days, Wesleyan would have a good team every now and then. West Liberty would pop up with a good team. But it was basically Glenville and with Coach Rodriguez and Shepherd. And then, Concord State, West Virginia Tech was in the league back then. We knew that if we just got the bus there, we were going to win those games. There was 3 or 4 guaranteed victories on your schedule. 2 or 3 games you had a battle in, and if you won those 2 or 3 games, you were conference champs. If you didn't, you didn't. Now there's great balance in the league. I mean, there's not a week where I go into the game thinking, man, we were totally outmanned. But there's not a week where I go into the game and go, oh, we got this one wrapped up. I was used to coming from California where there were some games, and if you lost the coin toss, that was the only thing you're losing that day. You knew you were winning those games. This is different. This league now, it's more balanced. It's a deeper league. I don't know that it has, some of those Glenville Shepherd teams of the early mid '90s were great football teams. This league is more. I think there's more balance 1 through 8.
Concord University head coach Mike Kellar.